American Book Award and a few fellowship in the arts, author of Uncle's South Sea China Blue Nightmare. Please welcome Lamont Steptoe.
It's actually Uncle's South China Sea Blue Nightmare, and it's back there on the table. I'm just going to read. Of course, I'll read the poem that's in the anthology as well. With flowers. When it came time for me to die as a child, the Vietnamese threw stones through the windows of my eyes, ambushed me in an astonishing garden with flowers that hissed like snakes. The brown children. The brown children of Vietnam knew exactly what we were. Hired mercenary hitmen of an empire. The brown children of Vietnam knew exactly what we were, more so than we knew ourselves at 18, 19, or 20. And they commented with stones, middle fingers, and grenades. Speaking of children, the youngest Vietnam veteran to die in the war was 15 years old. He joined the Army at 14, and his first month in Vietnam, he was blown to smithereens. A young black kid from North Carolina. You can Google it. I just found out this information like 2 or 3 days ago. And the least I can do is go to North Carolina and visit his grave. I looked inside the exploded chest of a dead Viet Cong. His heart had leaped the sky. His torso was a canyon mouth, shouting an angry poem his ears never heard. Not all the dead drop down on the field of battle. Some keep walking for years. What the Vietnamese taught me. During the day, I cut your hair, shine your shoes, wash your laundry. You fuck my women. I burn your shit. At night, I try to blow you to fucking kingdom come. We all know that the fabricated incident of the Gulf of Tonkin that allowed Johnson to commit over 500,000 troops to Vietnam. So this poem appears in my first collection about my experiences in the war, and it's called Gulf of Tonkin. And where will the Gulf of Tonkin be in 1983? Closer to home, no doubt. I mean, it's time for America to press the flesh with warfare up close and personal, as the networks say. And I spit in the eye of the lie that sends sons to die and causes families to cry. I hawker dragon spit in the faces of Congress that repeats Vietnam like episodes of MASH and episodes of Rat Patrol and episodes of Sergeant Bilko and episodes of Gomer Powell. Damn you rich lawyers, sons of bitches that rule our lives like Roman patricians. Damn you to hell with your sex gates, cocaine gates, Iran-Contra gates, pumping out foreign policies between totes and strokes of pleasure. You're not America, and never will be, just GM, Ford, and IBM, and trilateral commission lackeys dancing to the tune of magicians of darkness, hell-bent on importing the flames of Hades to Earth's surface. In the names of the Vietnam dead, I curse you in these post-Frank Reynolds days. I curse you Pentagon generals at the controls of the video arcade of the world, thinking you can win like kids win games of Pac-Man, you frigid, unemotional computer prick assholes. I survived your charade, your Vietnam charade. I survived. This black man survived to scream these curses at you. Washington is a town of morticians. Otherwise, why the big black limousines? All these years you've been showing us the inn, riding in your funeral processions to and from white houses and cold marble tombs. You're not America, just big business and robber barons and La Costa Nostra evil polluting our amber waves of grain. I curse you with the juju of Africa, the juju of my ancestors who cursed your southern soil while plowing fields and chopping cotton under the bloody sun of American slavery. I curse you for the hardships of poor people everywhere while you spend trillion-dollar budgets on weapons of destruction. I curse the fools who believe your rhetoric of red lies. I curse you for all the black lives that have slipped into swamps of insanity, never to return. I curse you for the deaths of our heroes and sheroes, whose voices shine like comets in the midnight skies. I curse you for the millions of deaths you will yet cause. I curse you for the locked up lives that rang out the truth before being twisted with chains and drugs and shock therapy. Oh, these words are the Samson that will push apart the pillars of your temples, quivering on shifting sands of now. Already, South Africa's defeat looms on the horizon. The death knell is sounded. Light bursts forth from free men's hearts everywhere. I run to a brilliant dawn where all that you represent will be like a forbidden forest, never to be entered again. Who survived? It was my 3-year-old daughter who first diagnosed my PTSD. She looked at me one day and said, "Daddy, you have a serious problem." But it took me 10 years before I got officially diagnosed. Who survived? I'm a daddy who survived the train wreck of war, but I cannot erase the horror from the blackboard of my spirit. Forgive me, daughter. For making you a little soldier. And striking you with the tropic lightning of my hands and words. There's another poem in here that I'd like to read. It's Nam is a boneyard of memory, a CD-ROM of pain and suffering that plays itself over and over along the internet of nerves that was once a laughing black baby boy in a yellow mama's arms. One of the things that black soldiers did in Vietnam was we invented this ritualistic handshake. And it varied depending on what part of Vietnam you were. But it's called the dap. And dap in Vietnamese means beautiful or beauty. It was the handshake of brothers, the handshake of black men in a war zone, fists striking fists, black hand side to black hand side, fists striking fists, up, down, over, around, a rhythm of righteousness in an unrighteous war. It was the handshake of difference, the handshake of resistance and struggle, a secret code that carried the weight of ancestors. It was a handshake of renewal, faith in a black world and African history. It was a handshake of drums and forests, of words unsaid but heard. It was the understanding that your life was always on red alert, that home was as dangerous as Vietnam. It was the knowledge that your duty was survival. It was the beauty of the blueprint of your being. Booted and forested. Booted and forested, we fell from the sky like stones. Our mission to preserve a democracy of bone. Children, we were puppets on the fingers of old men whose wealth bought stealth. How could we know we were torching the robes of our lives, eating the strawberries of nightmares, lost in a land that hated our footprints and cut our throats with the wind. And my final two poems, Witness in Chains appears in the anthology. And again, a big shout out to Ron Carver and his wife as editors, and to everyone else connected to this project, because it's just still very, very important. 285 Vietnam veterans die every day. There's less than 800,000 of us left of the 3 million. So if you compute 285 Vietnam veterans dying every day, in 1 week, 1,900 Vietnam vets have left the world. I saw a brother dragged back to the war in chains, 2 white MPs cracking his head with sticks, stomping his ribs with brilliant black boots, cussing and swearing, sweating like they was tussling a hog. I saw a brother dragged back to the war at Tonkin Airport, fighting like a hooked carp. It crossed my mind to shoot the redneck military police. A black turncoat executed at dawn. In another life, I shot them. And I'll end with this poem. This was written on Veterans Day. This Veterans Day. Another Veterans Day. The treasure of survival. Granddaughter says, "Happy Veterans Day, Pop-Pop." My brother calls and wishes the same. I sit wounded by a war 50 years in the past. No Purple Hearts for PTSD. No Purple Hearts for being poisoned by Agent Orange. For me and others, the past is a daily reality. Several hundred Vietnam vets died yesterday and again today, and tomorrow will repeat the deaths of today and yesterday. We are not in chow lines now. We are in a line for an open grave. We are in a line for oblivion.